What's up, y'all? AJ back with the best of sports and pro wrestling, the best of pro wrestling and sports. Either way you slice it up, you want to be here for the best of both worlds. And with that in mind, if you enjoy the content that we're bringing to you on a regular basis, definitely hit that like, share, subscribe down below, and don't forget that notification bell so that you know when we're coming through with new videos. And in addition to that, definitely don't hesitate to leave a comment down below so that we can actually keep the conversation going beyond the video. And being perfectly honest, the larger portion of this video, especially the main topic of this video, or I guess topics of sorts, I actually meant to have uploaded yesterday, and of course, y'all seen I had that botched. I actually managed to remember to unmute my mic, so yeah. My fault on that one. We're bringing it to you right now. It's largely a reaction to the sell of the Lakers, but we'll get into that here momentarily. Right now, y'all know what it is. Last night we had it, Game 6, Thunder Pacers. I mean, now we got the best two words in sports, Game 7. It doesn't get any better than this, and honestly, I don't know if I'd have it any other way. I know I had Pacers in 6, now I gotta go Pacers in 7, and last night gave me an awful lot of reason to be pretty firm in my belief in that. Now, granted, OKC's got themselves a very, very hostile crowd. I believe the SBC Arena is what it's called. It probably one of the loudest buildings, if not the loudest building in the league, but there have been plenty of those that have had that kind of environment going for them, and yet doesn't necessarily work out in their favor. I mean, it's even a thing to where they actually detailed it on Sports Center last night. This is the fourth or fifth time that a team going into a Game 7 was down 3-2 and won Game 6. And although other teams that have done the same thing actually ended up winning that series. So, I have a tough time feeling like this isn't Indy's just as much as it is OKC's to lose. It's going to be every bit as fun as I think it has been at certain points. I know a lot of the games haven't always been close, especially last night, which it's really huge for the Pacers, given that, it's easily the largest lead they had, which was, I think, upwards of about 32, maybe 34 points throughout this series. And it just goes to show that they're capable of playing that kind of game to where they can shut OKC down and just go on that barrage, and it was a much needed one, especially given the situation with Tyrese Halliburton and the strained calf. He looked pretty good last night. Wasn't necessarily his complete self, but I gotta say, for it being a strained calf, that was a very, very impressive performance. And so much of the other crew chipped in, from obviously, I don't know, Pascal Siakam. I think I was about to call him Ime Udoka somehow. I mean, he's a similar player, but I think a little bit better. Of course, Miles Turner did his thing defensively. And, of course, Nembhard, TJ McConnell, and others. They just pretty much went wild on OKC, and it was something to OKC. We'll just put it that way. I know that's bad, but I had to throw that in there. So we'll go ahead and move along. And like I said, main topics. The way I wanted to do this yesterday is we're going to actually shuffle between these things. Right now, of course, what we're going to talk about is the sale of the LA Lakers. Jeanie Buss actually selling the majority share of the franchise to Dodgers owner and head of the TWG group in Mark Walter. Mark Walter is now going to be in control of 85% of the team. Jeanie Buss will remain, the Buss family as a whole will still have 15% of the team, where Jeanie Buss will remain governor of the team. But we're going to save a lot of the details about this for a little bit later. What I really want to talk about here is what actually is something that we could see coming from this, especially given the numbers that have been displayed. And of course, if you happen to live in either Seattle or Vegas, this has got to be amazing news for you, because now we're that much closer to an expansion, and it's pretty much been said by a lot of people yesterday throughout. I mean, and even Wednesday when the news broke. This is significant because this is literally what Adam Silver was waiting for. And now this just gives them a lot more of a push for the expansion. And we're a lot closer to it. The revival of the Seattle Supersonics, and be interesting to see what kind of team name we get for the Las Vegas franchise, but we're pretty much at that doorstep now, I think, or at least a little bit closer to it. We're at least pulling up to the driveway or whatever the case may be, but this is really, really huge for that specific reason alone. I've actually feel like I've been looking forward to this for years upon years, never mind the last 10 years where it's actually really been discussed, but just going back to when OKC, oddly enough, they're still one win away from an NBA championship, the first one since departing from the city of Seattle. But yeah, I mean, how huge is all of that in and of itself? And to me, I'm hoping that we find out more about this sooner than later. I feel like that's got to be the case. Adam Silver has gone on record saying this will be up for discussion for the board in the off-season meetings. So certainly some exciting stuff to look forward to if, again, you're living in the Seattle or Las Vegas area. And now we just get back to the main topic of the subject, the sale of the Lakers. You know, this is huge for a variety of reasons. Of course, you can certainly argue the aspect of one Irvin Magic Johnson. He's definitely got an awful lot of influence in this, especially given that he's a part of said ownership group with the Dodgers. And of course, he already owns a share in the Washington Commanders as it is. Who knows what could be next for him with that. But all that being said, this is huge. $10.1 billion, or at least a good chunk of it. That's incredible, and it's not surprising that it's the Lakers that we're talking about here. Easily one of the flagship franchises, along with the Boston Celtics of the NBA. You know, it absolutely makes sense that the Lakers would actually have this kind of value going for them. Of course, the Celtics about a year or so ago had their sell of 6.1 billion. I don't know necessarily the details on all the controlling interest on that. I just know that was a number from last year. That's a $4 billion jump up, in other words. So that in and of itself is huge. And again, the way that it opens up things for a likely expansion at this point, maybe within the next 3, perhaps 5 years or so, probably even sooner than that, who knows. But yeah, I mean, certainly some exciting times if you're a Laker fan. I know that my boy D Mamba out there is probably looking forward to this, and a lot of other things that could be forthcoming with all this. I mean, it's certainly huge for all the right reasons, and I don't think there's enough that could be said about that. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that for now. With that being said, definitely do, like I said before, hit that like, share, subscribe. As I mentioned before, don't forget the notification bell. Again, let me know what y'all think on this. This has got to be some of the hugest news we've had NBA-wise in a while, aside from all the stuff going on with the finals, draft coming up in a week or so. But yeah, that being said, this has been your time with A&J, and I appreciate you spending it with me.